If you've ever been to a brewery and seen them using testing equipment, chances are that testing equipment was Anton Paar. They're the leaders in brewery testing equipment and have been for a very long time. Now you can get Anton Paar in your home brewery. G'day, I can start this video with some stupid animation. I could go through all the tolerance stats, like Marvin the paranoid android, reading them from the website. Ugh.
Boring.
I'll leave a link below if you want to go and read that stuff.
No! God, please, no!
The only thing that matters to you home brewers out there is how this little thing works in your home brewery. So let's not muck around. We'll do a quick unboxing just to show you what you get, and then we're straight into the brewery live on a brew day. We're going to take a pre-boil reading, a post-boil reading, then we're going to move on to the ferment, and we're going to take a during ferment reading and an end of ferment reading to show you how this works. After that, I happen to be fermenting some wine that's finished. We can take the final gravity of that and take the alcohol content of that, and then we're going to move on to some distilled spirits a friend sent me, and we can test the alcohol level of that. This is all live here in my brewery, not some stage studio under lights. And if you stick around to the end, there'll be a code for 10% off of the website for 1 month from when this video gets uploaded. I'll start by saying that this was supplied to me by Anton Paar, but it is not a paid review in any way, and all these words are mine. It's a very solid little unit. And that there on the back is the power switch. It does look very water resistant, and I've seen some promotional footage where someone was rinsing the top under a tap. Personally, I'm not sure I'd go that far. It also comes with some booklets, a little overflow tube, that's what I've called it, and a syringe, a 10mm syringe, and it is off-center or eccentric. So if you're looking for extras or replacements, make sure you buy eccentric ones. And the reason that matters is when you've got that overflow tube in, the normal slip tip syringes that are in the center, they won't fit in. If you have the off-center ones, they will. There's some very clear illustrated instructions there, tell you how to use it and how to degas your sample if needed. We're going to install the EasyDens app. As you can see there seems to be a wine one and maybe a spirits one. I'm just sticking with the basic version at the moment and going to use that for wine, beer and spirits. The first thing it does is ask us to connect. So we turn it on, press connect, allow it to connect, and we're connected. That was very easy. And as with any refractometer or hydrometer, it needs to be calibrated. So simply add some distilled water into the sample port, press start, you can see there we're a little bit out. We are over temperature. It says at the top out of temperature range because the water's over 30 degrees. It's a very warm day here. And as it goes down under 30 degrees, the temp out of range disappears. So to calibrate, we go into settings, adjustment and settings, and adjust. Press start adjustment. It says to make sure it's full of water. There we go, success. We'll take another reading. Sometimes you just have to stop it and start it again if it's not taking a reading. And there you go. It's calibrated. Let's jump into the brewery. I've got some readings to take, a little bit more than normal. So I'm just going to take some work like that. Should be enough, hopefully. And I don't want it to evaporate. Every time you take a sample, if it evaporates, it can only take a few minutes. The reading's going to be wrong. So at least, hopefully if that evaporates, it's going to go back into the fluid. This is no studio magic. We're live on brew day. You can probably hear the kettle boiling behind me. I've got a bleach-free or a non-bleached filter there, coffee filter. And I've just got a sample of my pre-boil. I'm going to try and filter it there. too much in. I could have cooled it first, but there you go. You'll just get a better reading. I mean, this is with all refractometers. You'll get a better reading without junk in it, because it needs to rely on light shining through the sample. And if you've got even little pieces like that, you know, you might not get the right reading if the sensor's right where a bit of junk is. The trouble is now that that's too hot, so I'm going to have to cool this down. Although that's plenty, I just want to have a bit to play with today. There's some water. Now the normal way I'd cool a sample down, you know, for a refractometer or whatever, would be just like that. I dip it in there, and within, you know, if you're wiggling it, it takes less than a minute or so to get that down to around 20 degrees. You do need a slightly bigger sample for an EasyDen, and that's okay. We can cool it down in here. I'd like to get ones with caps on it, so you can put it in there, put a cap on it, and just dip the whole thing in there. Just got to watch out, I don't want it to get too cool. So we can take a sample in there. There's many ways of doing this. I could try and chill all that, but it's going to take forever. So let's do it like that. That way the water's not getting into the syringe, but it will still cool down really fast. I've just got to get it down to below 30 degrees to get an accurate reading. Let's take a reading on my old one. It's at 1052. Oops. Okay, I'll just get this out of the way, that sample. I've got the EasyDens there. Let's go into, meanwhile that's going, let's go into, we're not switched on. Should switch on, shouldn't I? Switch that on. Put in the overflow tube. I'm going to restart that. Although there's nothing in there, that's a bit bad, isn't it? Hopefully this has cooled down enough. Let's get a bit in there. Nice and slow so we don't get bubbles. Alright, that should be plenty. And we'll restart the reading. Oh, I should record this, shouldn't I? Well, there you go, it's saying 1052 as well. So that's good. Working well. Oh, our pre-boil is 1052. Now, of course, to clean it, and I'm just going to give that a spray down before I put it in my container of distilled water. And gave it a wipe down too, and get some of my distilled water. And I can just give that a flush through. And turn it off before I empty it, and you can fill that up with air and you can help just push it out. Any liquid that might be in there. Done. Now we wait for the post-boil. Alright, let's try this out. I'll put in the overflow. I've got a cooled Wort sample. It is cloudy, but it has been through a coffee filter. Just started my screen record so you can see it. That's the measurement. That was our pre-boil. So if we save to batch, well, let's save to default batch. Let's create a new batch, and we'll say we'll do. If you can bear with me. Batches. West Coast. Okay. Create. Now we can go to the measurement. Actually, we can save that. You normally wouldn't save your pre-boil, but why not? I can't see why not. That'll give us a reminder of what it was. We can always probably delete that point maybe anyway, I'm not sure. We'll choose gaseous. But now let's try and get our final gravity reading. So I'm going to turn it on. And we're going to push some beer through it. Nice and slow, just to make sure we clear all that water out. There was any water left in it. Let's restart. Alright, let's press start. 1066. That's awesome. I was after 1065, so we're 1 point up. We can save to batch. I've got the batch there, gaseous West Coast IPA. Let's save to the batch. We can stop the measurement. We should be able to go into our batches and now have a look at our batch. And there's the 1052 reading and the 1066 reading. The orange is the temperature. What's this add original gravity? Oh, there you go, you can set your original gravity. I'll set that as my OG, 1066, and then when we get our final gravity we can set that. Alright. Good. And you can also add a value. If I'd forgotten to put in my 1066, or I've missed my first value, I can add it manually. Well, the same with the FG. If I get to the FG and I haven't used the EasyDen, I've used a hydrometer or something, then I can enter the value in and just put it in my batch. It will record it and give you the attenuation and the alcohol volume, etc. And here we are about 24 hours into the ferment. And I apologise, I called my SG, my starting gravity, my FG in the earlier video. And of course we need to filter it. There's a couple of things here. It's going to be carbonated, which isn't good, and it's probably going to have a little bit of a trube in it from the collection port being the first sample taken. I did pour out a little bit, but there's going to be a little bit there. So the filtering is very important. Now the filtering will help with carbonation. I found if it's very carbonated, you can use 2 filters. That'll speed it up, or you can stir it, and the warmer it gets, the less carbonated it's going to get. And you can use the syringe itself. If you put your finger over the end and pull out the plunger, it'll help pull the gas out of that sample. The great thing you'll see here is there's no calculations or maths to do with this sample. Even though it's got alcohol present, it'll be an accurate reading. So it's saying 1056. Well, it was 1065, 1066 yesterday, so it's dropped 10 points in a day. We'll save that to the batch. Gaseous West Coast IPA. And we're at 1056. So this one's at the end of ferment. I got home late last night from being away, and I took a sample, one for me to taste, and I just poured another sample on the glass so it'll be warm, more to room temperature when I got up this morning. Now I dry hopped just before I left. I left it a few days and then cold crashed via the internet, via my wrap fridge. So I hope it was finished. It should have been. It looked finished when I dry hopped. So yeah, we'll filter it anyway, even though it looks really clear, and it will probably be fine. It is a little bit carbonated. It's a bit hard to see from being fermented under pressure, so filtering it will help take that carbonation out. There's nothing wrong giving it a bit of a stir just to help get any other carbonation that might have been got through the filtering. Filtering's pretty good usually, as I mentioned. I'm just going to butt in here for a second, because sometimes a double filtering won't help. What helped that sample I just did then was I left it overnight warm. You know, it was 20 odd degrees in here overnight, and that really helps it to go flat, and then I double filtered it. But there is another way. This is a carbonated beer, and you can take your sample, and I could have of course done this to my other sample as well just to make sure, but you can put your finger over that and pull, and that will bring the CO2 out of the solution. And you can give it a bit of a shake and push the air out again, or CO2, and then you can put your finger back over it again and you can pull. And you're pulling all that CO2 out of suspension manually. Do that for however long it takes. You'll know soon because it starts to get harder. Yeah, there's not much left in that now. But that's how you do it. It's one way. Let's get the sample. There we go. There's our sample. Get this in here. The overflow can go back into there. Can go into there. I'm just going to give it a bit of a flush out. Alright, let's turn it on. And I'll turn on the pad. Yeah, 10-12. That's what I was sort of going to guess. I did mash a bit higher than I actually wanted. 10-12 at 22 degrees. Alright, so I can save that to batch. A gaseous West Coast IPA. And it's saved to the batch. So we should be able to go into the batches now. I can stop that measurement and go into the batches. Gaseous West Coast IPA. You can see it there. We can add that final gravity, which was 10-12. We've got 82% attenuation, and we are at 7.3% alcohol. So that's nice. That's nice. While I didn't get quite as low as I wanted, I've still got the 7% alcohol, which is plenty for my IPA. That's good. There you go, eh? You probably can do other things like the export. I don't know what it exports it as a text document. Well, what we might do, what we haven't done, is tried like Plato, or measuring Plato. It's saying 3 Plato. The end of ferment. Restart, double check. Yeah, 3 Plato. And we can change it over to bricks. And 2.9 bricks. Bricks and Plato are slightly different. What we might do while we're here is go back into the measurement and restart. See what it's doing, the distilled water. Yeah, it's doing it at 0.0. So that's good. So we move on to the wine sample. Again, we filter it. I'm hoping this is at final gravity. It should be. It's been there for a week. restart the reading, and it's saying 998 and 26 degrees. So that's at final gravity. That's actually good to know. That's measuring that, of course, with alcohol in it. That's around 10% or more. That was at 1.100, and now it's at 0.998, which is exactly where it should be. And I can save that to a batch. I can create a new batch, and we can call it wine. Create. Now, see, we can go into that batch. Make sure it's saved into there. I think it already has since I only did it. We'll go into the batches and we can go into the wine. But I didn't have, I didn't measure this when I first made it. So I can add a step, add a value, and I can put the date and time in, which was actually not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, 16th. We'll just leave the time as it is. And the measurement was 1.1. Turn, add, value added. So now we can see it. It's gone from 1.1 all the way down to below 0, and the temperature there, well, we haven't fixed that up, have we? Oh, the temperature's only actually going from 20 degrees to 26. I could go in and fix that up. I'll add a value back to Wednesday. We'll change the temperature to what it actually was. It was about 22 when I first started. That's it. And the measurement was 1.1. Add. And so we make that, the original gravity is that one we just made there. We're at 13.9%. Here's some spirits I can test. It was sent to me by one of my viewers of my cast many years ago. That's how long I've been doing it for. And the battery ran out on the camera. Let's see where we are. Alright, I've got the bourbon in there. Got the program on. I'm going to go into the program and see if I have to change it over. Measurement mode, measurement unit. Alcohol ABV, alcohol by volume. Let's hit that. And go back to settings. I think that's it. Measure. And turn it on. I haven't pushed any through yet. I'll push a little bit through. Kind of looks clear in that thin tube. Turn it on. Restart. Because the volume's out of range. Sometimes it does that, and I'll just press restart again. There we go. Jeez, it's warm in here today. 26.5 degrees. And it is 36.4% alcohol. That's amazing for one little machine like that. That's amazing. Seriously, mind blown. Yeah, that's amazing. There's very expensive units that can do this, but one at this price, that's great. So I can do unfermented wort, fermented wort, and spirits. That's awesome. So that's blown my mind. This thing is amazing. I've seen machines like this in big breweries, as I said, professional breweries, but they're many thousands of dollars. I can't believe I've got something like this in my brewery, and I mean that. I'm not getting paid to say this. I did get supplied the unit, but that's where the contract ended. These are all my words. Oh, I nearly forgot the 10% off code. It's HBN10 as far as I know, but just to double check down in the description of the video. I'll leave a link to where you can buy them, and I'll put the code in the description. And just before we go, there's another couple of things I wanted to add. There's a nice case. I printed this 3D printed case. I'll leave a link below where you can go and download that. It's free. Also, I did manage to find some end caps for these syringes, so when you're chilling them you can put the end cap on and put it in ice and not have to worry about your sample getting contaminated with water. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you to my patrons. Without them, these videos couldn't happen. Thank you to Anton Paar for sending me an EasyDens. I absolutely love it, and you'll see it in many videos, as you did on my live video just recently. Thanks very much. See you in the next one.
Boring. You're boring, everybody. Quit boring everyone.